The Ken and Barbie Killers, Bernardo and Karla Homolka. Attractive Canadian couple with a deadly secret. The devil often takes forms we least expect, sometimes wearing the most attractive guises. Between 1990 and 1992, Bernardo and Karla Homolka terrorized Canada, earning the chilling nickname, the Ken and Barbie Killers. To the outside world, they were a picture-perfect couple, young, beautiful, and in love. But beneath their polished exteriors lurked an unimaginable darkness. Their story of sadism, manipulation, and murder shocked the nation and exposed the sinister reality behind their charm. This is the harrowing tale of the Ken and Barbie Killers, a story of evil hiding in plain sight. Bernardo, the monster in the making. Bernardo grew up in Scarborough, Ontario, where his early years seemed typical from the outside. However, beneath the surface lay a dysfunctional family life riddled with darkness. His father, Kenneth Bernardo, was a deeply abusive figure, and his mother, Marilyn, struggled with severe mental health issues. She eventually withdrew from family life, retreating to the basement and leaving Paul to navigate his formative years with little emotional support. As a teenager, Paul's behavior began to signal deeper issues. He exhibited a concerning fascination with fire, becoming a pyromaniac, and started developing increasingly troubling fantasies that reflected his deteriorating state of mind. Despite these troubling tendencies, Paul maintained a facade of normalcy. He was described by many as charismatic and outgoing, a trait that masked his darker inclinations. His charm allowed him to blend seamlessly into social circles, making it difficult for anyone to suspect the evil brewing beneath. In 1987, Bernardo began attacking women in Scarborough, earning the nickname the Scarborough Rapist. These attacks, marked by a calculated and predatory nature, terrorized the community. Despite multiple eyewitness accounts and police efforts to identify him, Paul managed to evade capture. This period of violence was only the beginning of a trajectory that would lead to even more heinous crimes. Paul's ability to manipulate, charm, and remain undetected set the stage for a series of atrocities that would shock the nation and earn him infamy as one of Canada's most notorious criminals. Karla Homolka, the perfect accomplice. Born on May 4, 1970, in Mississauga, Ontario, Karla Homolka seemed like the girl next door. Popular, intelligent, and passionate about animals, she worked at a veterinary clinic and had an idyllic suburban upbringing. But Karla harbored a dark side. In October 1987, fate introduced Karla to Paul at a pet convention. Their chemistry was instant, and their relationship quickly turned intense. Paul confided his darkest fantasies to Karla, who not only accepted them but actively encouraged his violent tendencies. She became his partner in crime, fueling his sadistic desires and offering herself as an accomplice in his heinous acts. The first murder, Tammy Homolka. In the summer of 1990, Paul became infatuated with Karla's younger sister, Tammy Homolka. Instead of protecting her sister, Karla facilitated Paul's obsession. Together, they devised a plan to drug and assault Tammy. On Christmas Eve 1990, the couple put their twisted plan into motion. They spiked Tammy's drinks with a tranquilizer Karla had stolen from her workplace and used a rag soaked in halothane to ensure she remained unconscious. While Tammy was incapacitated, Paul and Karla assaulted her. But their plan took a fatal turn when Tammy began choking on her own vomit. Despite their attempts to revive her, Tammy died. The couple staged the scene to look like an accident, and authorities ruled her death as such. Shockingly, Karla and Paul had recorded the entire assault, a tape that would later become key evidence in their trial. A deadly partnership. The death of Tammy did not deter Paul and Karla. In fact, it seemed to embolden them. In 1991, the couple moved to Port Dalhousie, where they continued their killing spree. In June 1991, they abducted 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey, holding her captive for days. Paul and Karla filmed themselves torturing and sexually assaulting Leslie before finally killing her. They dismembered her body and encased the remains in cement, which they dumped in a nearby lake. In April 1992, they abducted another victim, 15-year-old Kristen French. Over 3 days, Kristen endured unimaginable torture at the hands of the couple before they ultimately killed her. Both murders followed a chilling pattern: abduction, prolonged abuse, and disposal. The couple's ability to work seamlessly together made them all the more dangerous. Her plea bargain, which resulted in a 12-year sentence, remains one of the most controversial aspects of the case. Families of the victims, along with the public, were left questioning how someone so deeply involved in such heinous crimes could escape with a comparatively light punishment. The tapes, now infamous, stand as haunting evidence of the couple's depravity and Karla's cold-blooded duplicity. The trial and aftermath. Paul Bernardo was convicted in 1995 on multiple charges, including first-degree murder and sexual assault. The trial was a harrowing spectacle, with graphic evidence and testimony that left the courtroom in stunned silence. Prosecutors painted a damning picture of Paul's calculated brutality, ensuring he would never see freedom again. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole and designated a dangerous offender, a status that makes his release nearly impossible. Karla Homolka's trial, or rather her lack of one, became a lightning rod for public anger. Her plea deal had shielded her from the full brunt of justice. Released in 2005, she attempted to rebuild her life, changing her name and moving to Quebec. She remarried and had children, living in stark contrast to the shattered families left behind by her actions. Her freedom sparked widespread condemnation. Public sightings of Karla often led to protests, with communities expressing outrage that someone who had committed such atrocities could live a normal life. The haunting details of her involvement, captured in the tapes, left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of Canada. For the families of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, the trials brought little solace. The knowledge that Karla walked free while they continued the tapes and betrayal. Paul's increasing violence and paranoia began to strain their relationship. In 1993, police arrested him on charges related to the Scarborough raves. During the investigation, authorities discovered videotapes hidden in their home. These tapes would prove to be the ultimate undoing of the Ken and Barbie Killers. The footage was horrifying. Detailed recordings of their assaults, showcasing the calculated cruelty and enjoyment they derived from their acts. The videos not only captured Paul's sadistic nature, but also revealed Karla's chilling compliance. She was not a reluctant accomplice but an eager participant, often taking on a leadership role in their crimes. Karla, however, had already secured a plea deal before the tapes were uncovered. In exchange for her testimony against Paul, she received a reduced sentence. Known as the Deal with the Devil, this agreement became a flashpoint for public outrage. When the full extent of her involvement was revealed, many Canadians felt betrayed by the justice system. Critics argued that Karla had manipulated the narrative, portraying herself as a victim of Paul's coercion while concealing her active role in the atrocities. To grieve was a bitter pill to swallow. Her release served as a chilling reminder of how the justice system had failed them, leaving a legacy of pain and unanswered questions. Even decades later, the case remains one of the darkest chapters in Canadian legal history, a cautionary tale about the complexities of justice and the shadows that lurk behind seemingly ordinary faces. The legacy of horror. The case of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka is one of Canada's most infamous crimes. It exposed flaws in the legal system, raised questions about the nature of evil, and left a permanent scar on the nation's psyche. For the families of Leslie Mahaffey, Kristen French, and Tammy Homolka, the pain remains raw. Their loss is a stark reminder of the real victims in this horrific tale. Evil hides in plain sight. The story of the Ken and Barbie Killers serves as a chilling reminder that evil often wears a mask. Behind their attractive appearances and charming smiles were two individuals capable of unimaginable cruelty. Their crimes shocked a nation, but they also highlighted the resilience of the human spirit. While Paul Bernardo remains behind bars, Karla Homolka walks free, a testament to the complex and often flawed nature of justice. This is a story that will continue to haunt Canada, a dark chapter in its history that reminds us to look beyond the surface, for the devil can take many forms. So, what are your thoughts on the case of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka? Were justice and accountability truly served, or does their story leave too many questions unanswered? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep stories from the world's most shocking crimes. Thanks for watching. Stay aware, stay curious, and let's continue exploring the hidden truths behind the headlines together.